On the Porch with Renee
and Maka'ala here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we're finally debuting an idea that we have had for
a long time.
Long time now. Because when Maka'ala and I get together, we tend to come up with some interesting concepts, ideas,
Conversations.
So
hanging out on the porch.
Hanging out on our porch. So this was apropos to start right here to introduce our new video blog that we want to create, so that others who are also collectively having these questions and ideas and feelings that we can address and give our feelings in.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we were just talking about creating ceremony. There are a lot of cultures that I've visited in the world, Poland, Spain, Germany. They all ask me the same question: how do you create rituals? Or no, how do you create ceremony? And just about a week or two ago, we created a ceremony for a post-wedding. A couple of friends of ours from Italy. You know, we discuss things like this and share some possibilities. And so we're here in New Mexico, and we, on the porch, the idea is, like many cultures, especially in Hawaii, hanging out on a porch is when you learn a lot of things. Listening to elders speak, just having conversations with just anyone, with children, adults, grandparents, friends.
And that's another way to put it, because a lot of people are very familiar with the fact that in summertime you want to eat outside with friends, and you tend to be immersed in the natural environment, and it's very important to come together in a location, and I feel being outside is significant. So depending, it doesn't matter what culture you're from, there's always this sharing that takes place when you can get outside and be in the elements. So I think it's appropriate for our venue.
So this is an introduction, the first of a mini series of video blogs that we'll create, learn how to create.
Yeah, we're learning as we go along on this, because we just started. But however, the idea's been there for quite a while, and we definitely want to bring in some topics, and there'll be one topic per blog.
Yeah, I know. For example, having a conversation with you, I feel like I want to take notes, because you have a wealth of information and a very broad perspective on a lot of things, not just as it appears in a 3D form, but in many different levels that it may reflect on, and not just daily living or alchemy ideas or nutritional fasting questions that we normally have discussions about, but the human soul and how we can share some possibilities with other people. Don't you think?
Absolutely. It's time. I mean, a lot of people know Maka'ala from the work he's been doing around the world and teaching, and I've been home holding fort. And so this is a way to introduce that we are a partnership. We always have been since the last 23 years. And we share a lot. So it's time to share that information with our collective family. And I believe our first topic for next time is Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. But we will just cover a general synopsis of Ho'oponopono.
Yeah,
these in a universal
right.
thinking.
We're going to do this in a more in a universal way, but also they're not complex conversations. They're just simply join in.
It's just relax, hanging out.
And we're hoping as they pick up and we get more ideas that you submit your ideas or questions, and we'll talk about them.
So send in your questions, send in your comments, especially the positive ones.
Yeah. But if you've got any concerns on things, you can send those in and see what we kind of feel about those. Because people do have concerns this time on the planet. I mean, it's rocking and rolling right now, and people have questions.
Yeah, thank you Santa Fe. Been a great time here. And we went up to the mountains and visited some very ancient dwellings.
Sacred land, land of enchantment here.
And when I go on these lands, not that I'm going to change the subject, but when I go out, walk on these lands, it really, some places resonates on a heart level, on a soul level, and some places, of course, don't. But we can have some of these discussions later.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's when we may want to slip in while we're still here, because it's pretty potent when you're in the location to actually do your download of information while we're actually on this land.
Yeah, I'd like to tap in to the time period of joy, happiness, and you know, harmony, versus tapping into a time period of a particular area that had a lot of warring and killing and battles.
What I find though, when you find those areas of where here it's different because you can easily get to those dimensions. Here, these are doorways all over this northern New Mexico. But as far as when you come to them, it's go, like you said, before that timeline. But they do exist, and not to back off and be afraid. Ooh, that hurts, back off. Like a massage I went at. Anyway, that's another topic. So, in any case, I think I'm with you. You'll be led as far as to the lands that you need to be with. And it could be for healing, and sometimes they don't always feel so great. And you're there to do your work. And some of us are more, what is it called, grid workers. The ones that work with those grids, those land places that need some balancing.
Yeah, and so, for example, Los Alamos.
Right.
I couldn't wait to get out of there.
He couldn't wait to get out, but I'm okay. I was okay there.
So that's
Did
something
you know that?
Yes.
Did you know I was okay
yes.
there?
So it's something
because
that I have to look into.
Because my feeling was I needed to walk around there. I needed to. I wasn't in a hurry, and I knew you were like out of there, and I understand why, because what's going on there. But sometimes
Los Alamos is a research facility, nuclear research facility, essentially making nuclear weapons.
And they hire about 11,000 people, we found out there.
So
and
we're having a conversation now, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a conversation that we go through from time to time.
Right, keeping it real.
So for me, my reality is that I have to look into myself and find out why am I feeling uncomfortable in a particular area. If I'm uncomfortable, then perhaps there's something within me that I need to let go of, so that you know, I don't carry that in my life, that resonance.
And what you can then add to the location for the healing, because I went through that on the Big Island. I, for years, had to reconcile my relationship with some of those areas.
The Big Island is like warrior energies over there.
Warrior.
When
I'd be down in Ocean View where all those souls were trapped. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, and so I used to back off, like get me off the island, get me off the island. Mm-hmm. And then I realized now the only way is to love yourself, love your way out of any place, but what do you contribute and give back to that space? And mind you, I get it. There's places you want to back out. And sometimes out of situations it's dangerous and you have to follow that, like back out because there's danger. But then there's another one, wait a minute, that's a level within me that I need to, like you were saying, observe within myself. Is this me, or is this something that's actually, something I need to work on, or is this a dangerous situation that I actually do have to go?
We go to so many places, we visit so many different lands, and feel so many different energies. And of course our intention is always one to bring unity, cohesiveness, support, love. You know, we never want to take from any place that we visit. It's always, what can we do to give? And energetically, this is something that Renee and I, you and I, we do on a regular basis. We create ceremonies sometimes going into these areas to let go of those souls that perhaps might be trapped. And so, not that we are the saviors of the world when we travel, however, we enjoy visiting places like here in New Mexico, that has deep, deep history here. with the Spaniards and the Mexicans and the Indians and all of that.
But you get beyond those timelines, and then you can start going into the interdimensional worlds of what the veils between the worlds I feel here are much thinner than some of the other locations I've been in.
That's right.
It's just an incredible place here. It is called the Land of Enchantment.
I didn't tell you that, but yesterday when we were in Ojo
Caliente.
Ojo Caliente. I like to joke and say Ojo.
Ojos.
Ojo Caliente. And I went into, after going into hot springs, one of the baths that came out, and I was just, my mind's eye just popped right out.
Ojo.
Ojo means what?
Eyes.
Eyes. Oh. See, it was eyes. So we were at the spring, and
isn't that interesting?
yeah, and
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, usually in meditation, I can open my mind's eye. In Hawaii, we call it hokulea. Hokulea, of course, have many meanings. Arcturus, the star, and many things. But hokulea also refers to your mind's eye. And yesterday, it popped right out. And even when I opened my eyes in this 3D, it was just bright. I couldn't see the 3D world. I was just looking at my eyes.
That's just it. That's that interdimensional doorway.
Yeah.
So here we are in the elements of this water that felt very ancient to me, like this bubbling soda water that, soda baths. It was like that one that was on the inside.
They call it soda bath.
Soda bath.
It was good for the digestive.
I loved that one. I loved that bath. I loved all of them. The iron was a little hot though. It was a hot bath. And it was a record heat yesterday here.
98?
98 degrees yesterday. And we were in the hot springs. Quite an experience. Well, I think that's coming quite rapid.
Well, if you have questions, like I said, please submit them. If you have any comments, welcome them. The number 2 video blog we'll start with Ho'oponopono.
We'll do the Ho'oponopono. We've been talking about
And Renee, of course, it will be sharing a lot of aspects of Ho'oponopono, which is universal thinking. So
I'm not from Hawaii. I don't.
She's Hawaiian at heart.
Hawaiian at heart, as I would hopefully be with all cultures that I am with.
Thank you.
Mahalo. You cut me off.